This video comes from Sayrez here in the Discord. They said check out this Fate video. It talks about everything from the franchise. So here it is, the Fate series in 25 minutes. I guess I'm gonna learn a whole bunch of shit today. Let's go.
Fate Stay Night is the iconic title that laid the
So
foundation
this is
for
the
Fate
original
franchise and paved the way for Fate's large catalog of spin-off media, anime, manga, video games, and much more. Developed by Type Moon in 2004, written by Nasu
That's
Kinoko
not
and
that long
illustrated
ago.
by Takeuchi Takashi, Fate
Kinda
Stay
long,
Night tells
but
a
not that
story
long
of
ago.
epic proportions, an all-out battle royale between 7 mages and their summoned servants, heroic spirits from ancient history and myth fighting for a chance to obtain the Holy Grail, a magical artifact that will make any wish come true.
So go ahead and let me know. It's been 20 years. Has anybody gotten and used the Holy Grail yet? If it's a spoiler, that's okay. Just let me know because it's been 20 years. Has the final goal been achieved? Let me know.
Unfortunately, Shiro Emiya, one ordinary high school student, stumbles upon this war on accident and gets attacked by a servant. But right as he's about to be killed, he's somehow able to summon his own servant, Saber, to fight and survive. Fate Stay Night is an eroge visual novel in which the game branches off into 3 different story routes the reader can choose from. Fate, Unlimited Blade
Unlimited Blade Works.
Works, and Heavensfeel, each one having different event developments that happen in the Holy Grail War. Each story route explores different aspects of Shiro's ideals, exploring themes of heroism and the value of one's own ideals. Each of the routes also focuses on a central heroine that acts as Shiro's partner throughout the story. Saber, an enchanted swordswoman, ultimately revealed to be Altria Pendragon, historically
Also seen referred as Artoria Pendragon or Artoria Pendragon. Bro, you just wrote the same thing twice. What?
the legendary King Arthur.
Artoria, Altria. She got 3 names?
Rin, an expert mage prodigy, and Sakura, a warm, friendly underclassman. Fate Stay Night stands as one of the most iconic visual novels of all time, well beloved and critically acclaimed by many readers and fans, which eventually led to many anime adaptations. The 2006 Fate Stay Night TV anime series by Studio Dean, which adapts the Fate route, the 2010 Unlimited Blade Works movie
Unlimited Blade
the
Works.
2014 Unlimited Blade Works TV anime series by Ufotable, and the Heavensfeel movie trilogy by Ufotable.
I've heard of Heavensfeel.
These series are the main story anime adaptations. However, there are a couple of spin-off series that involve the main Fate Stay Night cast, such as Today's Menu for the Emiya Family, a light-hearted slice-of-life manga series about Shiro cooking for his friends and neighbors,
That's
and
cool.
Carnival Phantasm, a comedic parody anime that has the cast of Fate Stay Night and Tsukihime interact together in a variety of situations. While there are many discussions about how to get into the Fate franchise, wondering where to start, most fans can agree that reading the original visual novel is the most ideal way to start. There
Read? Boo!
is a remastered version of Fate Stay Night released for PC and the Nintendo Switch. Fate Hollow
Nintendo
Ataraxia
Switch.
is a visual novel developed by Type Moon, released in 2005 as a continuation to Fate Stay Night. While this sequel fan disc explores more of the Fate cast in a more light-hearted slice-of-life nature and setting, it also tells a serious story about Shiro, Bazette Fraga McRimitz, and her servant Avenger, as they find themselves
That dude looks
trapped in a
badass.
time loop. Fate Hollow Ataraxia takes place 8 months after the events of Fate Stay Night, in which the story reflects multiple timelines at once, where all of the major events from all 3 routes of Fate Stay Night happened, while also not being any singular one of them.
Cool.
Here, the story allows the reader to experience
most
a
canon.
wide variety of scenarios featuring the main cast of Fate Stay Night not involved in a Holy Grail War. Such events include Saber learning how to
Go ahead and let me just... Don't mind me.
swim, Lancer casually fishing, and Shiro going on dates with the heroines. While these scenarios are largely non-serious and are meant for fun fan service, they do also explore certain characters more in depth, individuals who didn't get much story coverage in the original story. The game is split into 2 parts. Daytime scenes focus on slice-of-life content, while the nighttime scenes advance the main plot. An important note is that while Fate Hollow Ataraxia is considered a continuation of Fate Stay Night, as commented on by Nasu, it's best not to think about it in regards to its place in the canon timeline.
Sure.
There is a remastered version of Fate Hollow Ataraxia released for PC and the Nintendo Switch.
Cool.
Fate Zero is the prequel to Fate Stay Night,
So what type of game is this? Is this this is the same thing, the visual novel?
originally released as a light novel released in 2006, written by Gen Urobuchi with illustrations by Takashi Takeuchi. Set 10 years before the events of Fate Stay Night, Fate Zero depicts the Fourth Holy Grail War in Fuyuki City. Here, the story follows the origins of certain influential characters from Fate Stay Night, examples being Shiro's adopted father, Kiritsugu Emiya, and Kirei Kotomine. Fate Zero began when Takashi Takeuchi suggested a prequel to Gen Urobuchi. Urobuchi agreed to write the story, while Nasu Kinoko supervised the characters and overall plot. The story of Fate Zero takes on a more darker, grittier tone, while also setting the foundation for Fate Stay Night's events. Through its large ensemble cast, Fate Zero explores each character's personal philosophies, principles, and ambitions that fuel the desire for the Holy Grail.
Let me hear
both
it.
Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night.
Somebody leave a comment about the different philosophies. I'd love to read about those.
Explore the nature of heroism, Fate Zero takes a different approach to the idea by showcasing Kiritsugu's ruthless battlefield tactics driven by his extreme utilitarian beliefs. This ends up creating tension with his servant Saber due to her noble ideas and way of fighting. The story also highlights Kirei Kotomine's ongoing struggle with his inner emptiness and lack of purpose, pursuing Kiritsugu in the process, someone he sees as possessing the same type of feelings. Fate Zero later received an anime adaptation by Ufotable in 2011. Fate Extra is a 2010 dungeon crawling RPG developed by Type Moon in Image Epoch and published by Marvelous Entertainment. Fate Extra diverges from the traditional Fate formula by setting the Holy Grail War into a cyber digital world in its own parallel universe.
Interesting.
Fate Extra was written by Nasu Kinoko with character designs by Takashi Takeuchi and Arko Wada. Set in a virtual world known as the Moon Cell Automaton, players assume the role of an amnesiac protagonist canonized as Hakuno Kishinami, who is forced to fight in the Moon Cell's Holy Grail War, a dueling tournament involving 100
that split was crazy.
Summoned servants fighting for the possession of the Moon Cell, alternatively known as the Holy Grail of the Moon. Players have the option to select between three different servants that will accompany them on their
a woman who wields a sword boldly, a stoic warrior clothed in red robes, a magical fox girl. Damn, I ain't gonna lie, bro. They got us thinking out here, a stoic warrior or a fox girl. Damn!
journey. Nero Claudius,
why can't I have all three?
Infamous Roman Emperor, Tamamo no Mae, a legendary Japanese fox spirit, and Nameless, a heroic spirit embodying justice. The gameplay revolves around dungeon exploration and features a rock, paper, scissors style battle system.
That look like Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
Players must predict and counter enemy actions and behaviors. Outside of the dungeon, Fate Extra operates like a traditional RPG with visual novel elements where the player must gather data on their opponent and raise their affinity with their own servant. Fate Extra's themes tackles the brutal struggle of survival while also following Hakuno's journey to uncover their own forgotten identity and their purpose for fighting in this digital Holy Grail War. Fate Extra would eventually go on to have its own dedicated series of games in the Extra timeline. Fate Extra has a 2018 anime adaptation by Shaft known as Fate Extra Last Encore. It is very highly recommended to read Fate Extra before watching Last Encore, as the anime has its own original storyline based on the game. Fate Extra also has a remake in the works in the form of Fate Extra Record with updated visuals and gameplay. Fate Extra CCC is a 2013 dungeon crawling
PSP
RPG and
classic.
is the sequel/spin-off companion.
Yo, if you played this game, let's go PSP bros for life, bro.
In-game to Fate Extra. This installment presents a more
pretty small penis. Let's go.
story to Fate that explores themes of love, sexuality, repressed desires, and hidden aspects of one's personality.
That sounds deep.
During the events of Fate,
did I see what I think I saw?
Repressed desires, and the hidden
It feels good.
aspects of one's personality. During the events of Fate Extra, Hakuno Kishinami and their servant are abruptly transported to the far side of the moon, a distorted dimension within the Moon Cell. Here, the rules of the Holy Grail War no longer apply, and they must navigate a place called the Sakura Labyrinth, a mysterious maze ruled by Bibi, a rogue AI that hacked the Moon Cell's core systems.
A rogue AI,
to note that the events of Fate Extra CCC occur during the 5th tournament round of the original Fate Extra's Holy Grail War, creating a parallel story that runs alongside the original original game's
So it's a
timeline.
tournament
Fate
system?
Extra CCC centers around exploring the Sakura Labyrinth, where each floor is a manifestation of the desires of the dedicated floor guardian and their servant. As Hakuno
floor
makes their way
guardian.
through the dungeon, they will force the floor guardian to confront their own repressed emotions and inner secrets, breaking the walls they have built to stop Hakuno's progress.
Deep.
Fate Extra CCC
I like that.
has the same game mechanics as Fate Extra, with additional changes and improvements. Gilgamesh is also introduced as a new servant for the player to choose from. While
Bro,
Fate
that dude
Extra
is
CCC introduces
badass.
BB as its primary antagonist, it also introduces the Sakura 5, separated aspects
Sakura
of
5.
BB's ego that have split off as independent entities,
Now that's
manifesting
interesting.
under the new servant class
Purity,
Alter
affection.
Ego.
Whoa. Let's see.
Antagonist, it also introduces the Sakura 5,
5.
separated
Love and hate together?
aspects
Okay.
of BB's ego
Pleasure.
that have
Okay.
split off as independent
Yearning. Okay.
entities, manifesting
Affection,
under the new
all
servant
right,
class
and purity.
Alter Ego. There is also a manga based on the game called Fate Extra CCC Foxtail, which tells the story of an alternative route of Extra CCC that focuses on Castor as Hakuno's servant and explores the connection between Tamamo no Mae and Amaterasu. This story includes planned elements that were ultimately cut from the original game.
Amaterasu.
It is important to note that Extra CCC was never officially released
Bro, that is the cover art. Damn.
outside of Japan,
Y'all had it-
making it
y'all
one
had
of
it
the
good.
least accessible entries in the Fate franchise for international audiences. However, there is a complete unofficial fan translation available to read. Fate
Okay.
Extella: The Umbral Star is a 2016 action game developed and published by Marvelous and written by Nasu Kinoko and Hikaru Sakurai. Here, Fate Extra moves away from its turn-based rock paper scissors gameplay and becomes a Muso action game, featuring
Okay.
dynamic combat against massive numbers of enemies.
We saw
Set
this.
in an alternative ending to the events of Fate Extra, the game explores the following aftermath
Check out our Fate Extella reaction video. It was fun.
of the Holy Grail War within the Moon Cell. Hakuno Kishinami and their servant Nero Claudius are the victors of the war and have been given control over the Regalia, a control device that grants power over the Moon Cell. However, it appears that the Regalia
Regalia.
has been split into 3 pieces along with Hakuno, separating them into 3 digital avatars: mind, soul, and body. Each fragment of Hakuno and the Regalia ends up in the hands of 3 different servants: Nero Claudius, Tamamo no Mae, and a mysterious new servant, Altera. Meanwhile,
Wow,
both
that
the
design is so sexy.
Claudius, Tamamo
Wow,
no Mae,
wow,
and a
wow.
mysterious new servant, Altera.
Wow. Bro, how do you even wear something like that?
Meanwhile, both the Moon Cell and Earth face the impending arrival of Velber, the Umbral Star, a
Velber.
cosmic threat with the power to bring total destruction. The story is told in 3 different perspectives, each
Okay.
one focusing on a different Hakuno and their dedicated servant. While Nero and Tamamo's campaign show that both of them increasing their bond with Hakuno while investigating the situation, Altera's campaign largely focuses on her complicated and conflicting circumstances. It is only after completing the 3 campaigns that the player is able to unlock the true route, which reveals the full secrets and the hidden mastermind behind Fate Extella's events. A big notable point of Fate Extella is the lore details surrounding Safar, an ancient alien life form that arrived on Earth and the Moon Cell
Aliens?
1400 years ago to harvest and destroy human civilization.
Oh, now you're cooking.
Another important detail is the concept of the quantum
AI,
time
aliens,
mechanism in the Fate
moons.
universe
What else? What? Yeah, virtual reality. What else? You gods. What else you got? What else?
that governs the preservation and pruning of parallel
Bro, this
world
series is
timelines.
crazy.
Fate Extella Link is the direct sequel to Fate Extella and continues to build upon the Fate Extella story while refining the Muso combat gameplay and adding more servants to the roster.
Let's go.
The story takes
More
place
Muso.
immediately after the events of Fate Extella, where the Saber servant Charlemagne is summoned to help take down the
Charlemagne.
latest threat to the Moon Cell, the legendary Karl the Grobe and his army of
I ain't gonna lie, Carl really got that shit on him, bro. He looking stylish, bro. This design in itself is an 11, bro. Look at him. He a beast.
Here, Fate Extella Link offers a more streamlined story and gameplay and strongly highlights the bond between the player and their servants. There are 3 routes with 27 stages between them, each representing different events leading up to Karl the Grobe's defeat.
It's pretty
Throughout
hefty.
all the different routes of the
Yo,
game, Karl the Grobe's
homie
true
look
intentions
mad.
and motivations are revealed alongside his connection with Charlemagne. Fate Apocrypha is a 2012 light novel series written by Yuichiro Higashide and illustrated by Otosugu Konoe. Set in an alternative timeline timeline, the Holy Grail was suddenly stolen from Fuyuki City during the Third Holy Grail War. Many years later, the Yuga de Millennia clan openly declares their separation from the Mages Association and their possession of the Holy Grail. The Mages Association dispatches their magi to retrieve it, only to be slaughtered by a servant summoned by the head of the family. This event sets the stage for a grand, large-scale battle between the two factions, each side summoning 7 servants to battle in a new kind of Holy Grail War, called the Great Holy Grail War. While the story depicts the ongoing fight between the Yuga de Millennia clan and the Mages Association, referred to as the Black and Red factions respectively, it also tells the story of Sig, an escaped homunculus who eventually becomes his own self-aware, self-realized individual through his unfortunate participation in the war conflict.
That's interesting.
Takes its time
There's a lot of there's so many different parallel stories when it comes to self-discovery and understanding who you are. That's really cool, man. Shout out to you guys that have learned to understand yourself using the Fate series, man. The writers definitely got a thing or two under their belt when it comes to self-discovery, and I'm not talking about just sexually.
To explore each of its expansive cast of characters and their individual wishes and personal regrets in life, while also detailing its over-the-top battles. A couple of the featured servants in Fate Apocrypha are Siegfried, Astolfo, Mordred, and Karna. This also includes the unique ruler-class servant, Joan of Arc, who serves as the overseer of the Great Holy Grail War. Fate Apocrypha has a 25-episode anime series produced by A1 Pictures.
25 episodes? That's pretty hefty.
Fate Lost Enhayard is a light novel series written by Hikaru Sakurai and illustrated by Shiro Miya. This series takes...
What is going on? What? Huh?
Light novel series written by Hikaru Sakurai and illustrated by...
Somebody explain this. Please, I need to know.
Shiro Miya. This series takes place 10 years after the events of Fate Apocrypha and follows Lamina Yugmillennia as she participates in the double subcategory Holy Grail War. In this Holy Grail War, each master has a pair of servants that team up to face other masters and their respective servant duos. Lamina's servants are Ragnar, the King of Vikings.
Ragnar? Bro, he looked like a freaking beast, bro. Yo, he really got that coat on him, dripped out, bro. Got fur everywhere, dual axes, bro. Okay. Yo, this design itself is also an 11, bro. Fire. Now, this one also kind of dope. I like her nipples are pointy. Got the horns and stuff like some type of Valkyrie. I'll give it a 9.8.
The last of
but bro, he really got that thing on him.
As well as the daughter of Brunhilde.
What the hell? These are kind of dope too. I give these both. I give this one like a 9.3. I give this one like a 9.4.
And
bro, look at that. That sword is so badass. And he has a short sword with him. The only thing throwing it off is the glasses.
The running conflict
bro
is
can't
that
see.
While these two heroic spirits are historically husband and wife, Larg does not remember her relationship with Ragnar in the present day.
Damn.
Currently, there is only one volume of Fate Lost Enhayard published with an English fan translation for the first volume out. Fate Lost Enhayard is also the first Fate series to have a colon in the title instead of a /. Fate Prototype is an early draft of what would eventually become Fate Stay Night. Originally written by Nasa Kinoko during high school, Fate Prototype would undergo several changes before it was transformed into the version of Fate Stay Night we know today. Many core ideas of Fate Stay Night are still present, but the general roles, tone, and characters are completely different. Instead of Shiro Emiya, the protagonist is a girl named Aika Saijo, and instead of Saber being female, Saber is male.
So that would make sense why I've seen this male Saber. Okay.
Arthur
it's making sense now.
Fate Prototype has 2 dedicated media, a short anime OVA released in 2011, and a light novel prequel series, Fate Prototype Fragments of Sky Silver, released in 2014, written by Hikaru Sakurai. The light novel was later adapted into a drama CD and a manga. The Fate Prototype OVA is a short animation of the original Fate concept, showing off Arthur Pendragon and prototype versions of Gilgamesh and Ku Klane. Fragments of Sky Silver tells the story of the first Tokyo Holy Grail War, in which a young Aika Saijo remains unaware of a Holy Grail War taking place, while her older sister Monica is one of the chosen masters, summoning Saber as her servant. Here, the story features servants like Arash, Brynhildr, and Ozymandias. There's also a side story of Fate Prototype called Fate Labyrinth, which serves as a tie-in between Volume 4 and 5 of the novels. Fate Colored Liner Prisma Ilia is a 2007 spin-off manga series written and illustrated by Hiroshi Hiroyama, a Fate title set in an alternative universe where Ilya von Eisenberg from Fate Stay Night becomes a magical girl.
Oh,
in a chance meeting
so
with
now
a
it's
magical
making
talking
sense.
wand named Kaleidostick Ruby, Ilya is chosen to become a magical girl and help Ruby and Rin find and locate the 7 class cards scattered across the city, magical items that hold the essence of legendary heroic spirits. While some people see Prisma Ilia as a magical girl comedic slice-of-life series infamously known for its scenes of young girls kissing each other, Prisma Ilia also carries...
Whoa. They put crazy amount of detail in that kiss, bro. There was more passion in that kiss than I personally had in some of my relationships, bro. That was crazy.
Itself as a very serious magical girl story. Here,
wild.
the story continues to embody and even expand on Fate Stay Night's original ideas of fighting for one's own ideals and the extent of sacrifice. It also mixes in familiar ideas and thematic messages of the magical girl genre, such as the strength and willpower of a young girl who strives to save everyone.
Sure,
This is
and the
best
power of
shown
teamwork,
through Ilya's
right?
growing relationship between another magical girl with a mysterious past named Miu Edefeld and her own sister, Kuro von Eisenberg. While there are plenty of comedic slice-of-life moments in Prisma Ilia, it also contains very dramatic emotional moments between its characters, as well as very flashy action battle sequences as well. Prisma Ilia has an anime adaptation in the form of the Prisma Ilia TV series and movies. Fate Type Redline is a 2019 manga written and illustrated by Hirano Ryoji, a title in the Fate franchise that focuses on the Gouda Gouda servants and their involvement in a Holy Grail war set during World War II. The story follows Kanata Akagi, a teenage boy from a declining mage family that wants to live an ordinary life. While going through his late grandmother's belongings, he accidentally activates a magical hourglass that sends him into the past. There, he accidentally summons Saber and quickly realizes that the situation he's currently in reflects a historical light novel based upon real events that depicts an epic battle between supernatural beings in the imperial capital of Tokyo in the middle of war. Fate Type Redline is also known as a revised, more serious version of the gag manga Fate Koha Ace by Kei Kenshi. This series takes place in the world of Gouda Gouda, a parallel world not directly connected to any other Fate work. While the servants remain the same, Fate Type Redline replaces the Fate Koha Ace masters with brand new characters. A couple of the most well-known servants that appear are Okada Soji and Oda Nobunaga.
Oda Nobunaga,
referred to as Gouda Gouda servants in relation to Fate Grand Order, as they have their own special events that features them and the other characters in Fate Koha Ace.
That animation looked fire.
In Fate Koha Ace and Fate Grand Order, they are shown to be comedic gag characters, but in Type Redline, some of them are instead shown to be cold-blooded and extremely violent.
When did this come out?
Here. Fate Type Redline is an action story that subtly comments on the potential consequences of war and its irreversible effect on people and society,
as
well as
everything.
how magic and magecraft only makes it worse. There are 5 manga volumes of Fate Type Redline currently out at the time of this video, with a fan translation ongoing. Fate Samurai Remnant is a 2023 action RPG developed by Koei Tecmo Games with Type Moon supervising the project.
We saw Samurai Remnant. Let's go.
This title is a fresh take on the Fate formula, combining the historical lore of Edo Japan with fast-paced action combat and exploration. Set in the late Edo period,
was it a good game?
Miyamoto,
What would you give it?
A young
1 through 10.
An adopted son of Musashi Miyamoto finds himself
Musashi
involved in the
Miyamoto's
Waxing
son.
Moon ritual, a type of Holy Grail war where 7 masters and their heroic spirits fight amongst each other for the Waxing Moon, a holy artifact similar to the Holy Grail. The main core staff involved with Samurai Remnant is Yuichiro Higashide, Hikaru Sakurai, and Rei Wataru. In the game, the player takes control of Iori and fights alongside his saber servant, revealed to be Yamato Takeru. Outside the combat, the player can explore various districts of Edo to progress the story or do side quests. A huge part of the story is on Iori's character and his motivating desires to fight in the Waxing Moon ritual. It addresses the feelings of uneasiness of fighting as a samurai given the current peaceful times. However, because of the dangers of the Waxing Moon ritual, Iori decides to fight and will do anything to become stronger as a result. It is very highly encouraged to play through the game multiple times to complete all 3 of its endings, including the true ending. An addendum to the final ending of Fate Samurai Remnant can be found in the Fate Grand Order collaboration event. Fate Strange Fake is a 2015 light novel series written by Narita Ryogo with illustrations by Mori Suzuki. While originally created as an April Fool's Day joke in 2008, it would later get an official novel and manga series, detailing a very unusual and unconventional Holy Grail war. Taking place in Snowfield, a fictional city in the United States, the American mages are attempting to replicate the original Fuyuki Holy Grail war ritual, but ends up creating a fundamentally flawed version of it. Because of the compromised nature of the process, many irregularities arise, resulting in a conflict that goes far beyond the ordinary scope of a traditional Holy Grail war. The story combines the chaotic, interconnected storytelling of Narita's writing with the Fate franchise to bring a wide array of interesting interactions and situations. Fate Strange Fate also contains elements from many other Fate and Type Moon titles, referencing various concepts and character relationships from the broader Nasuverse lore. There are 9 light novel volumes of Fate Strange Fate currently out at the time of this video, with a fan translation ongoing. Fate Strange Fate also has an ongoing anime adaptation.
How good are the fan translations? Because I keep hearing fan translation. Are they're good, right? They're localized?
Produced by V1 Pictures. Fate Requiem is a light novel series written by Mateo Hoshizora and illustrated by Noko. The story presents a modern world in the year 2025 where everyone has their own Holy Grail and servant. This title focuses on Eris Utsumi, the only individual who did not receive a Holy Grail and a servant. She is also given the special task of eliminating servants. However, her life begins to change when she meets a young boy servant revealed to be Voyager, the final servant to be summoned on Earth. The story explores the complex relationship between the two, given that this bond holds deeper significance for our main lead character. Eris harbors resentment towards others for how servants are commonplace and how they are treated in this world.
How are they treated?
In which she believes diminishes the historical importance of servants. Another key idea in Fate Requiem is the concept of permanent death. In this particular world, people no longer die from old age or illness. As a result, acts of murder carries far greater weight. Currently, there are only 2 volumes of Fate Requiem published, with its last volume being released in 2020, with no news about the next volume's release. Both volumes are fan translated into English. More story details about Fate Requiem can be found in the Fate Grand Order collaboration event. Fate Grand Order is a turn-based mobile game RPG developed by Lesengo, formerly Delightworks, and published by Aniplex. Originally released in 2015, it has since expanded worldwide and has become one of the most successful and influential games in the Fate franchise, where its success has led to many anime and manga adaptations. The story has the player assume the role of Ritsuka Fujimaru, one of the chosen masters of Chaldea, an organization that monitors the timeline of human history. When Chaldea suddenly determines that humanity will cease to exist in 2016, the player is given a mission to be sent into the past along with Mash Kiralite, a young co-worker turned Shielder class servant, to resolve large-scale incidents in history called singularities in order to correct the timeline and prevent humanity's extinction. Each chapter of Fate Grand Order has the player experience a variety of different time periods, all while encountering a diverse cast of servants from a wide array of mythologies and legends to help the player on their adventures. These chapters, while episodic, serve as the main story arcs of the game's large ongoing narrative. Observer on Timeless Temple, Epic of Remnant, Cosmos in the Lost Belt, and Ordeal Call. As a mobile game with a gacha game system, players are encouraged to summon servants and to build their combat team. Players are able to summon servants from prior Fate titles in the franchise, as well as servants unique to the game itself. Fate Grand Order even has collaboration events where players can summon characters from those Fate titles and even other Type Moon properties such as Tsukihime, the Garden of Sinners, and Witch on the Holy Night, while further expanding on those properties' lore and story. Fate Grand Order also has multiple anime adaptations. Fate Grand Order First Order, a special episode about the prologue of the game's events, animated by Lee Deuce. Fate Grand Order, Divine Realm of the Round Table, Camelot, Agatharum, a movie duology about the Sixth Singularity animated by Production IG. Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia, a TV anime series about the Seventh Singularity by Cloverworks. And Fate Grand Order, Final Singularity, Grand Temple of Time, Solomon, a movie about the final Singularity and end of Part 1 by Cloverworks. Fate Grand Order has become a massive success, accumulating millions of game downloads and billions in global revenue. Its lasting popularity can be attributed to its complex and exceptionally written stories, a diverse and lovable cast of characters, and its large dedicated fan base. Carnival Phantasm is a comedy OVA series based on Eri Takanashi's Type Moon gag manga Take Moon. Created by Lurche and released in 2011, Carnival Phantasm was made to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Type Moon and represents a comedic parody spin-off of Fate Stay Night and Tsukihime. Each episode in the series contains multiple short
Fate
skits
abridged
featuring Fate Stay Night, Tsukihime, and Melty Blood characters.
Ooh,
Here,
Melty
Carnival
Blood.
Phantasm has several reoccurring jokes, some of which are referenced constantly among the fanbase, such as Lancer constantly dying and Saber's fluid session. Carnival Phantasm also features Neko Arc as the series' unofficial mascot and narrator. Neko Arc is a cat-like parody version of Arcuade who often breaks the fourth wall and provides side commentary. Carnival Phantasm is best enjoyed if you have experienced both Fate Stay Night and Tsukihime due to its referential humor. Fate Grand Carnival is a comedy OVA series that debuted during the 2020 New Year's broadcast and serves as both a parody spin-off of Fate Grand Order in a similar manner to Carnival Phantasm. Each episode in the series contains multiple short skits featuring Fate Grand Order characters, from its extensive cast of servants to Mash Kirillite and the female version of Ritsuka Fujimaru. Many elements and jokes from Fate Grand Carnival are inspired by a Carnival Phantasm, but for Fate Grand Order, such as Lancer constantly dying, Neko Arc reappearing as mysterious Neko X, and the opening sequence of the anime series. Fate Grand Carnival is best enjoyed if you are an active player of Fate Grand Order due to its familiar characters, referential in-game jokes, and typical player quirks/habits. If you are interested in another explained video like this, check out this next video over here. Thank you to everyone on Patreon for supporting me and covering visual novel content. You guys are fantastic, and if you would like to be a part of that effort, please consider subscribing.
So that's super cool. That was everything about Fate. Yo, this song's going crazy. So I didn't know Fate started off as a visual novel. So it went from a visual novel to video games to its own anime. And that's really impressive. And it's been 20 years. It's been over 20 years. It's been 21 years. This thing has been out, man. Like, people have literally grown up with Fate. And that's very impressive to see in itself, right? To see media last for 20 years and be able to expand to different forms and different types. That's amazing. So I'm wondering, like, out of all the people in the Fate community, who's been there since the beginning? And are they still enjoying the Fate series? There has to be some type of dark period within the Fate verse, right? Maybe not in the Fate community itself, but like there has to have been some type of dark ages, right? It can't be all peak unless it is. If it is, hey, let me know. But yeah, that was an interesting video to learn about the Fate fandom, the Fate series. I appreciate you guys watching these Fate videos. It makes me feel fated in life. And until next time, man, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Drop some videos in the requests and I'll be checking them out. See you next time. Peace.